Hey folks, Bill O'Leary. And what I want to talk to you about today during this live talk is estate planning that's intended for parents that have children where the children have a mental illness. So this is part of our Thirsty Thursday series. I'm going live. I go live every week. If you're stumbling across this for the first time, talk about a different topic that I run across in my law practice, estate planning, elder law, probate, that sort of thing, with Legacy Planning Law Group located in Jacksonville, Florida. So let's jump in. So mental illness in the U.S., frankly, is more common than a lot of people think. Studies show that 1 in 5 adults have some form of mental illness that they're coping with or managing, and the numbers aren't much better for young people, for kids. Ages 6 to 17, ages 6 to 17, the ratio is 1 to 6. There are lots of different kinds of sort of behaviors, emotional, mental behaviors and disorders that fall under the broad umbrella of mental illness. They can range from mild to really severe. So things like depression, maybe bipolar disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic stress, and other anxiety disorders, they fall under that general big umbrella of mental illness. Now, look, I don't need to tell you, if you have kids, raising children is hard work even under the normal circumstances, but raising a child with a mental illness often requires more effort and resources. So depending on the severity of the mental illness, the child may also need constant attention, like maybe special schooling, special attention therapy, maybe counseling. And also, the child may be eligible for some help, for some government assistance or benefits that would require careful planning to become eligible and stay eligible for those benefits to make sure that they're not interrupted or lost. So if you are the parent of a child with a mental illness, you know obviously how best to care for your child, but ask yourself, what would happen if you, or let's say you're married, you and your spouse were no longer able to care for your child? How would their needs be met? Well, with careful and thoughtful estate planning, advanced planning, you can ensure that your child is going to live the best life possible, the most fulfilling life, not only while they're a child, but also into adulthood. By using certain legal tools, you can create really a personalized plan just for you that offers financial stability and support for your child. So, what are some tools in the toolbox? One, something called a psychiatric advance directive. So this is a special kind of legal document that lets someone to sort of state in writing what their mental health care preferences are, what they would like for mental health care, in case they're not able to make decisions for themselves due to some sort of illness. A psychiatric advance directive can include the treatments that they might prefer, maybe medications, even list certain mental health professionals to be utilized. It can also designate a healthcare agent to make those decisions on their behalf. Now, for parents working with the adult child with a mental illness to create this again called, it's a special kind of advance directive called a psychiatric advance directive, can be a great way to respect the child's autonomy while planning for situations where they might not be able to sort of advocate for themselves. And so this special kind of directive can give parents that precious peace of mind, knowing that their child's treatment preferences are going to be honored, even if they're at the point they can't speak for themselves. And this tool, by the way, is especially valuable, let's say if the child might experience certain episodes or episodic conditions, so sort of up and down, that may impact their decision making. Another tool in the toolbox, what's called a special needs trust. A special needs trust. This is a unique kind of trust that's designed to benefit individuals with disabilities, including mental health conditions. All while it's in place, it's specially designed to make sure that any government benefits and the eligibility for them will not be threatened or jeopardized. Things like Medicaid or Supplemental Security Income, also known as SSI for short. Now, a very common kind of special needs trust is called a third-party special needs trust. And this is where somebody other than the disabled beneficiary sets it up. And it's called a third-party trust because a third party sets it up. Typically, let's say a parent or a grandparent, and not the child. The child is not the one setting up this kind of trust. And so this third-party special needs trust is a great way for a family member to sort of set aside funds for a child that has a mental illness to help them with their needs. Now, the money in the trust can be used for sort of non-essential items and non-essential services to improve the child's quality of life. Things over and above that, let's say, Medicaid doesn't pay for. Things like maybe recreational activities, therapy sessions, educational programs, again, designed to improve the child's quality of life. And since these are considered supplemental expenses, the trust does not affect the child's eligibility for this government assistance, okay? And what's nice about a third-party special needs trust is that it's not subject to what we call the Medicaid payback rule, where in certain kinds of special needs trust, any money that's left over in the trust when the disabled beneficiary dies has to be paid back to the state to sort of reimburse the state for, let's say, the Medicaid benefit that was paid out. There is no payback provision in a third-party special needs trust, so anything that might be left over can go to heirs. Another kind of trust, a tool in the toolbox, what's called a discretionary trust. So this gives the person who manages the trust, called a trustee, complete control over the distribution of funds. Most special needs trusts are discretionary. And so this is really important for the child with a mental health disorder. Why? Because they typically don't have the ability to manage their own finances, at least in a responsible way. And so with a discretionary trust, the trustee has the authority to decide when money is distributed, how much, when to or to not distribute, and for whatever purpose. It's entirely within the trustee's discretion. And so the flexibility that a discretionary trust provides makes it a great option, frankly, for addressing a child's needs that may change over time, you see. So for example, a trustee could allocate funds for, let's say, medical expenses or therapy or vocational training. And again, those needs may change over time. And by setting clear guidelines in the trust, a legal document, parents can specify what kinds of expenses should be prioritized, and this will ensure that the child will receive the best care possible. And one other trust I want to mention, what's called a spendthrift trust, spendthrift. So if a child's mental illness, let's say, affects their decision-making, or let's say it might predispose them to sort of impulsive spending, okay? A spendthrift trust can protect the funds from being wasted away. So this kind of trust would, you see, restrict the child's access to the trust assets because they've been deemed not responsible themselves. And it prevents them from making withdrawals or using the funds for improper purposes. So, and what's nice is that, you know, any of the child's creditors won't be able to come get the money in the trust. It's off limits to creditors. Now, some key things for a parent with a child with a mental illness to consider, to keep in mind when setting up one of these kinds of trusts I've mentioned. Number one, make sure you select the right person to be the trustee. So the trustee, as I have sort of described, they play a very important role in managing and distributing funds from the trust. Well, a trustee is somebody that you trust, right? So this person you select should be trustworthy, but also financially responsible and savvy. They should also be familiar, generally speaking at least, with mental health issues so they can make decisions, compassionate decisions on how to distribute money out of the trust and prioritize your child's well-being. Second tip, collaborate with professionals. So estate planning for a child with a mental illness is complicated. It requires close collaboration with your, let's say, legal professionals, financial, mental health professionals. These experts can put in place a very nice, very effective estate planning approach that will align with the client's needs and the goals of the family. And then one last tip, make sure you set very clear guidelines and you identify or list successor trustees after the one that you name. So providing these detailed instructions on how the funds are to be allocated and designating at least one, if not more, backup trustee can ensure that the child's needs will continue to be met if the original trustee becomes unavailable. So estate planning for a child with a mental illness involves both health care decisions, for sure, but also a financial and legal consideration. So working with an experienced special needs estate planning attorney is vital to ensure that your child has the resources to live the best life possible. If you'd like to know a little bit more about estate planning geared to parents of kids with mental health illnesses and maybe how we can help, we would love to talk to you. So we would invite you to take that first baby step. Go ahead, reach out, schedule a free 15-minute discovery phone call with our team. Scheduling is very easy. Just go to our website, book your free call. There's a button, can't miss it. Click on it, takes you to our booking calendar. Or if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube, appearing at the bottom of this video now is a pop-up screen. Click on it, takes you to our same booking calendar. If you've enjoyed this video, we'd ask that you like it and do subscribe to our YouTube channel. So I hope you've enjoyed this talk, which I've called Estate Planning for Parents with Children of Mental Illness Challenges. I'm going to give another talk next Thursday at about the same time, part of our Thirsty Thursday series. So if you're thirsting for knowledge, we will quench your thirst. So I'm going to sign off for now. Bill O'Leary is my name. Go make it a great day and a better world.